and his whereabouts remain unknown. 96% of booths booked, 20 international companies on board for Building Expo 2024. Kroll, family calling for justice for Westminster man fatally shot by intruders, and opposition calls for thorough probe into Paruima airstrip closure weeks after commissioning. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here. I'm Aletha Grant with the Monday 22nd July 2024 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We will tell you at this hour that the father of a former police officer who disappeared under mysterious circumstances is calling for a thorough investigation into the whereabouts of his son, as nearly 3 months have elapsed without any answers. Here is more.
The father of Delon Alexander, a 35-year-old former member of the Guyana Police Force, known as Portmore, who disappeared on May 7, 2024, is urging the Guyana Police Force to conduct a thorough investigation into his son who disappeared almost 3 months ago.
Mr. Robinson Ben, the president, and everybody, we have all this information. I asking them to kindly see into this matter, sir. Because at this present moment, my dream or whatever I'm having here is that I just feel my son is not here anymore.
According to Delon Alexander's father, on the morning of May 7, 2024, his son left home in a taxi to purchase building materials for the construction of his home at Strasvie, East Coast Demerara. After obtaining the materials, Delon reportedly took a bus en route to Buxton, where he was last seen.
Subsequently said he's going to Mr. Benjamin Baker shop to purchase bread. While at Mr. Benjamin Baker shop, he was in the baker shop because a source close, when we went the next day, told us that they did saw this boy in Mr. Benjamin Baker shop. But on his way out from the baker shop, 2 men pull up in a car.
Alexander, however, told Nightly News that an eyewitness also alleged that the entire ordeal was captured on CCTV cameras in the area, but when checks were made for the footage, that too disappeared. I am Carice Gonzalez reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
350 exhibitors as well as 20 international companies are on board for the 2024 International Building Expo set for the National Stadium. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Minister of Housing and Water Colin Kroll, in a telephone interview with Nightly News on Monday, said a significant number of booths have already been booked. Some 350 exhibitors and 20 international companies have indicated their interest.
We have about 96% of the booths have been allocated, 20 international companies, ranging from Italy, Barbados, US, Canada, Trinidad, Suriname, Puerto Rico, India, Brazil, Indonesia.
The minister also encouraged persons to maximize the time spent at the Building Expo, which will commence on August 8 and conclude on August 11.
We want to ask persons to come early. You can come after lunch and enjoy as much time as possible. He
added that event is also family-oriented and will have areas where parents can take their children for some fun time while they visit the various booths.
Two, if you really want to get as much information as you want, or you want to network, or you want to meet as much companies, or you want to see the products that are being offered in this sector, whether it's for home, whether it's for construction in general. So there's a lot of information that you will be able to leave the expo with, as well as contacts for companies.
This year, the ministry will also once again host its Dream Realize Housing Drive, commencing with the title distribution for new housing areas after the opening ceremony. On the second day, the master plan for Silicon City is expected to be unveiled. The housing drive will also continue with land allocation exercises for regions 3 and 4 on the second and third days, concluding with entertainment on the final day. This year's expo, which will run from August 8 to 11, is being held under the theme, quote-unquote, building on the foundation of sustainability and unity. Tianuku reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
While the combined opposition is calling for a probe into the closure of the Paruima airstrip, the Ministry of Public Works has since denied claims that the almost $400 million airstrip is in dire need of repair. More details from Carice Gonzalez.
Leader of the Alliance for Change Not to Use, at the recent press conference, urged the government to take legal actions against the contractor responsible for the Paruima airstrip, which was commissioned in April 2024 and was closed a month later, disrupting services.
They should first of all commence legal proceedings against the contractor because clearly he has not delivered an airstrip.
Hughes also called for measures to be implemented to reduce the cost of living for Paruima residents who are now relying on river travel to access goods.
The government ought to provide subsidized transportation for the good people of Paruima so that at least they don't have to spend more money trying to get to neighboring villages.
The completion of the airstrip in Paruima, Upper Mazaruni District, Region 7, promised to initiate a new era of connectivity and development in the indigenous village. The contract was awarded to International Import and Supplies at a cost of over $397 million in 2023. However, the opposition contends that the design and construction process for several projects should incorporate checks and balances, quality assurance, and quality control. They further noted that the review is critical to the safety of Guyanese using newly constructed roads, bridges, and airports, and construction should be closely supervised by competent professionals. No contractor should be allowed to perform work unsupervised. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Public Works in a statement noted that defects on Paruima airstrip were repaired and thereafter further assessments will be done. The ministry would like to note that the current video circulating on social media platforms was taken prior to June 19, 2024. Additionally, it should be noted that due to the remoteness of the location and the logistical challenges in transporting equipment and materials to the site, smaller size equipment and locally available materials were most feasible for rehabilitation of the airstrip. I am Carice Gonzalez reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Join us after this break for more news.
Transitions Light Intelligent Lenses. Pick your color. Choose your style. Available at Optique Vision Care.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
You don't leave anything to chance. Every day you click it, lock it, and mask up. Now press, rub, and wash with Sterling Super Soap. Our antibacterial formula eliminates 99.9% of all germs and bacteria. Clean and moisturize your hands with 4 refreshing and rejuvenating fragrances. Get super clean with Sterling Super Soap.
Krishna Roth Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating, machinery, excavator repairs, rice field pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC Monrepo, East Coast, Demerara, or call 220-9624, 616-9416, or 619-7880. At Krishna Roth Establishment, no job is too small or too large.
Welcome back. You're with the HGP Nightly News. After repeated calls for traffic cameras to be installed across Guyana, Chairman of the Guyana National Road Safety Council, Earl Lambert, said he is pleased with this addition. He, however, believes the relevant authorities can do more to prevent dangerous driving on the roadways. Daisy Richards reports.
Guyana National Road Safety Council GNRC Chairman Earl Lambert, speaking to Nightly News, said the legislation passed for 24-hour surveillance cameras to be installed on traffic lights around Guyana is a positive step in the right direction to preventing dangerous driving on the country's roadways.
First of all, we related that piece of legislation was passed, finally passed, and we have been advocating for it all along. It will clearly help with the kind of lawlessness that is taking place on our roads.
The GNRC chair added that although this is a good initiative, the surveillance cameras might not be enough to curb bad habits on the roadways. He reiterated that the government should start using the 3-strike law that was added to the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Amendment Act in 2014.
If a person has been ticketed on several occasions, then there's a law that they can revoke the driver's license for that person. There's several steps to take before that is done, though. But it is something that has to be done.
He highlighted that the 3-strike law will send a message to persons who abuse Guyana's roadways.
The police hold a vehicle, heavily tinted vehicle. They take away the tint, the fitness, and they give them an opportunity to go and take off the tint and return and get the fitness back. That vehicle owner or whoever is using the vehicle then reinstate back the tint. The same thing happened with music in minibuses.
Only Friday last, opposition leader Aubrey Norton said the number of fatalities on the roadways are now a cause for concern and has called on the government to craft realistic policies to curb this phenomenon. Over the past weeks, the death toll on the nation's roads have seen a significant increase. To date, there have been more than 120 road fatalities for the year so far, with just over 5 months remaining for this year. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
Meanwhile, a 16-year-old is now dead following a car crash on the Essequibo coast. The now dead teen's mother says his last words to her before the accident was, "Mommy, I'm coming home just now." Daisy Richards has more.
16-year-old Julio Joseph of Pomona on the Essequibo coast is now dead following an accident on Saturday night around 11:40 p.m. on the Fairfield Public Road. The motorcar was being driven by 20-year-old Gavinash Narayan, while Joseph was in the front passenger seat of the car. Narayan, according to a police report, told investigators that he was heading south on the Fairfield Public Road at about 80 kilometers per hour when he saw a cow on the road and swerved to avoid a collision. As such, he lost control of the vehicle and collided with a fence on the eastern side of the road. The driver received multiple injuries along with Joseph. Narayan was picked up in a semi-conscious state, while Joseph was picked up in an unconscious state by public-spirited citizens and taken to the Saudi Public Hospital. Joseph was pronounced dead on arrival, while the driver was treated for a fractured arm and a laceration to the head and admitted a patient. The body of the 16-year-old is currently at the Saudi Public Hospital mortuary awaiting a post-mortem. The police of Regional Division 2 are currently investigating the incident. Julio Joseph's mother told Nightly News on Monday that she texted her son to ask him where he was because it was late and he said that he was with a friend at a supermarket. The 16-year-old told her, quote, "Yes, mommy, I'm coming just now," unquote, and after those messages, she recalled that she called and texted her son but received no reply. It was later that she learned that her son was involved in an accident and succumbed to his injuries. She added that her son was kind and loving and willing to help her. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
Executive member of the Alliance for Change, Juretta Fernandes, has lambasted the government for continuously investing in the sugar industry, which she deemed non-profitable, while other priority areas are being ignored. Antonia Day reports.
According to the Bank of Guyana, sugar output amounted to 60,204 tons, which is 28.0% higher than the corresponding period, 2023. The financial institution, in its 2023 annual report, cited that it recorded a noteworthy increase in cultivated land by 52.0%, totaling 4,020 hectares compared to 2,640 hectares in 2022. However, Alliance for Change AFC Executive Juretta Fernandes last Friday at her party's press briefing had differing views.
The PPP continues to spread a false narrative of progress about sugar and the sugar industry to Guyanese, while the data is speaking a different story.
Though billions of dollars are continuously being pumped into a sugar industry, Fernandes said evidently the government's strategies are failing.
At no surprise to us, sugar production has recorded a decline of 46% in the first quarter of 2024. This is evident that the government's projection of 66.1% growth through mechanization and conservation is failing rapidly. The AFC notes further that the then CEO has apparently given up on the industry altogether and has left for greener pasture after he has failed to turn around the sugar industry.
The AFC spokesperson on finance also said that while the government continues to pay attention to the crippling sugar industry, it continues to detract from the hardships posed on many Guyanese by the high living costs.
The constant increase in price of basic food items continues to plague the Guyanese, while the PPP government seems to be living in denial of this fact.
Antonia Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
We'll be back after this break. Stay tuned.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Thanks for staying with us. You with the HGP Nightly News. The family of a Westminster man who was fatally shot on Sunday by intruders is calling for a thorough investigation to be conducted and for justice to be served. Tiana Cole filed that report.
69-year-old Jairam Ramkisuni, construction worker of Westminster Housing Scheme, West Bank Demerara, was shot and killed in his yard by intruders in the wee hours of Sunday. In an interview, the late man's brother, Philip Ramkisuni, called for the president to look into the matter and the Guyana police force to conduct a thorough investigation into his brother's murder.
The president, we are waiting on you for a fair justice into this. And if you got to walk the length and breadth of Guyana to get justice, we will do it.
According to Philip, the family believed that the individuals who robbed his brother's house previously and had threatened his wife in court on July 9 are the same people. He claimed that after his sister-in-law was threatened in court, she spoke to the police officer in court, but no report was taken.
And I feel to myself the police are not doing their job in a proper manner. And Mr. President, it's waste of time you pay these police to do their job.
The grieving man said his brother was a very hard-working man and did not deserve such a gruesome death.
So I'm calling on you, Mr. President. We need justice. Please do your job. You need to get a strong police force. Bring in the American police to let them do investigation if the Guyana police can't do it.
Police headquarters in a statement said, investigation revealed that Ramkisoon resided in a one-flat concrete structure with his wife, Tajwanti Hari Prasad, a 50-year-old housewife, and their two sons, ages 24 and 25. Ramkisoon's wife related that she and her husband were asleep in their bedroom when they were awakened by three males dressed in hoodies, one of whom was armed with a firearm. The bandits gained entry into the house through a window. They then demanded that she hand over cash and jewelry, during which one of the men dealt her several lashes about her body with a gun. Ramkisoon engaged in a scuffle with the men, during which one of his sons came to his bedroom. The men exited through the western side door, after which Ramkisoon armed himself with a cutlass and pursued the men into the yard. The wife further stated that she then heard a loud explosion of what sounded like a gunshot, and upon checking she saw her husband lying motionless on his face in a pool of blood at the front of the yard. She then contacted a family friend who reported the matter to the police. Tianoko reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Even as the Bank of Guyana's 2023 annual report cited an 11.2% contraction in gold declarations locally, Alliance for Change executive member Juretta Fernandes has urged the state to develop a comprehensive plan to address issues in the gold industry. Antonio Day has the details.
The Bank of Guyana BOG in its 2023 annual report stated that total gold declarations contracted by 11.2% to 432,113.2 troy ounces. The financial institution said that this reflected a decline in production by small and medium-scale miners. Executive member of the Alliance for Change AFC, Juretta Fernandes, commenting on the subject last Friday during her party's press briefing, said there continues to be a decline.
The government's projected non-oil growth was heavily based on a recovery in the gold mining industry, with gold declarations increasing by 15.7% being projected in 2024. The first quarter report from the Bank of Guyana for 2024 stated that gold output has declined overall by 16%.
According to the Bank of Guyana, small and medium-scale miners, which accounted for 74.6% of the total declarations, experienced a 16.2% decline in declarations. The decline was on account of labor shortage in the gold bush, unprecedented dry weather, and depleted resources. The sole operating foreign company, Guyana Goldfields Inc., Zijing, recorded higher declarations of 7.8% to 109,358.4 troy ounces at the end of 2023. Fernandes recommended that the state take the necessary measures to address challenges in the gold industry, as these revelations are worrying.
The Alliance for Change calls on the PPP government to put immediate measures in place to aid small and medium-scale operators who are facing harsh mining situations, and more importantly, for the PPP government to put measures in place to curb illegal activities that would result in lower declarations of gold.
Back in June of this year, Head of State Irfan Ali had announced that the state will set up a new task force that will monitor the port of entries where gold is being exported from Guyana. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Hey Guyana, are you ready for an African explosion of culture as the African Culture and Development Association ACDA hosts Emancipation Festival 2024, featuring premier cultural acts from top Guyanese groups, South America, the Caribbean, and around the world. Come, let's celebrate the culture of our forefathers with African food, history, fashion, innovation at Guyana's biggest cultural festival. August 1st in the National Park. Gates open at 10 a.m. See you there. Around day, we all hold together.
Good evening, I'm Daisy Richards and welcome to Monday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Honduras. After a month of an iron fist policy aimed at fighting rampant drug and gang-related crime, Honduras police say they have seized hundreds of guns and arrested alleged gang members. Under this hardline approach called Mano Duro in Spanish, Honduran President Xiomara Castro has used emergency powers to send security forces into crime-ridden neighborhoods. She plans to jail over 20,000 inmates in a new mega prison. The strategy is a lighter version of neighboring El Salvador's tactics. There, President Nayib Bukele has also suspended constitutional rights, implemented mass trials, and incarcerated around 2% of the adult population and thousands of minors. In Honduras, there is widespread skepticism whether the government will be able to emulate the results in El Salvador, where crime rates plummeted and life has been transformed. Quote, they say massacres have decreased, that assaults in places have decreased, but when we read the papers, we see massacres and murders continue, unquote. Residents who have seen previous governments fail with hardline tactics remain convinced. Quote, Iron Fist, don't believe it, unquote, said Norman Ochoa in the capital where patrols routinely pass. Quote, in terms of murder, death, crime, in so many things, we are suffering, and today, God is the only one who sustains us, unquote. While in Guatemala, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk said on Friday that democracy in Guatemala, quote-unquote, remains in danger, despite election winner Bernardo Arevalo assuming the presidency this year after post-electoral crisis. Guatemala had in 2023 one of the most tense electoral processes in its recent history, after the prosecutor's office tried to invalidate the election's results and prevent Arevalo from being sworn in as president. During his visit last week, Turk met with Arevalo's civil rights representatives, indigenous leaders, and businessmen, and stated that for him it was a priority to support the country's efforts to strengthen the democratic system. Since taking office in January, Arevalo has lost several battles in Congress, where he only has support from 23 of 160 seats, failing to pass several laws such as one to expand the national budget and others to declare rain emergencies. Now for some international news. President Joe Biden dropped out of the 2024 race for the White House on Sunday, ending his bid for re-election following a disastrous debate with Donald Trump that raised doubts about his fitness for office just 4 months before the election. The decision comes after escalating pressure from Biden's Democratic allies to step aside following the June 27 debate in which the 81-year-old president trailed off, often giving nonsensical answers, and failed to call out the former president's many falsehoods. Biden plans to serve out the remainder of his term in office, which ends at noon Eastern Time on January 20, 2025. Quote, it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term, unquote, Biden wrote in a letter posted to his X account. Nearly 30 minutes later, Biden threw his support behind Vice President Kamala Harris, the party's instant favorite, for the nomination at its August convention in Chicago. Quote, today I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year, unquote, he said in another post on X. Quote, Democrat, it's time to come together and be Trump, unquote. Biden's decision came as he has been isolating at his Delaware beach, huddling with a shrinking circle of close confidants and family members about his political future. Biden said he would address the nation later this week to provide detail about his decision. The White House confirmed the authenticity of the letter. Thank you for watching. Do have a productive week. Until next time.
Family fears the worst after ex-cop disappears. 3 months has elapsed and his whereabouts remain unknown. 98% of booths booked, 20 international companies on board for Building Expo 2024. Kroll. Family calling for justice for Westminster man fatally shot by intruders. And opposition calls for a thorough probe into Paruima airstrip closure weeks after commissioning. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Aletha Grant. Thanks for watching.